AC, if a big brings the ball down below his waist, below his chest, you feel like it's got to be your ball?
Yeah, 100%. That's the only advantage I have when guarding bigger players is, the ball exposes itself. We talked about it as a team, being undersized at times this year. Like just being aggressive in those situations. And, sometimes we're going to foul, but a lot of times we're going to get deflections, we're going to get steals, and we're going to be able to run. So just taking advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself.
Alex, you've seen a lot of basketball. How unique and experienced is a 29-point comeback?
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot. I've been part of a couple comebacks in my career, even before the NBA, that have been crazy. But playoff game down 30, that's not a great feeling, especially on the road. But one positive that I was trying to spin it for the guys was we got a lot of time left. There's a lot of basketball to be played and a lot of possessions in the game. And I just felt like at halftime when we were at 26, I was like, excuse me, I was talking to the guys in the locker room just about getting it to low single or low double digits, 10, 11, 12. And from there, I felt like we could win the game. And that first unit came out and hit them right in the mouth in the third quarter. Chet made a bunch of shots for us to get us going. But they got stops, and from there, it was just momentum was on our side, and it's a dangerous thing in the playoffs.
And obviously, you've impacted winning for quite a few teams now, but is this, the most fun you've had doing it?
Yeah, I won a championship. That was pretty fun. So TBD on that answer, but this group of guys, just the energy and the tenacity that we do it, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on the court, 2 minimum at any point in time. There's always 2 guys out there at least that are really getting after it. Playing with, myself personally, I love playing defense. I love competing on that end. That's just fun. And then being surrounded by a bunch of dudes that also enjoy that and find enjoyment and pride on that side of the floor, it's a lot of fun, yeah.
Mark said that you all, as a team, got away from character, got out of character in the first half and had to reconnect. In what ways do you feel like you got out of character? Defensive numbers obviously speak for themselves, but specifically which ways?
Yeah, we just didn't react well to their role players making a bunch of shots early. Like I don't know if they hit the rim on their first 5 shots between Pippen, Conchar, Aldama. Like they all were just green and just cashing. So like we had played a couple games against LA late in the year where they did the same thing early in the game, and one game we responded well and one game we didn't. The first game we didn't, second one we did, and I thought even then we did a good job of responding to the game, but we didn't make shots, and we kind of let that affect our defense. And like our defense is our superpower. Like when we're locked in on that side of the ball, we're an unstoppable force because we just have so many guys and such great instincts and can finish possessions. So I think just giving up a lot of stuff in the paint in that second quarter after they made threes, we got away from that and let them get out in transition. And then that obviously just, playing against a set defense coming down, they were able to turn up the pressure a little bit. So just getting back to getting stops and then moving the ball on offense in the second or the third quarter was big for us.
They had more turnovers than buckets in the second half. You talked about defense being your superpower. What do you make of a stat like that?
Yeah, they missed their main guy, their main ball handler a little bit with Ja when he went out. They put a lot of pressure on Pippen Jr. and Bane. And, I could tell, excuse me, Queso was giving Pippen Jr. hell, bringing it up the court into the third, beginning of the fourth, just with, how much energy he was having to put into playing defense on Shea and then bring the ball up and initiate offense. So a lot of that was us just playing with instincts, too. Like a couple times, Queso sped him up, and I think I peeled off and went double and got a steal. So just, playing aggressive and when you're down 20-something in a game, especially in the playoffs, like you kind of have to just go for it. So for us, it was just about trying to get as many turnovers as we could to try and play fast and come back.
You talked about momentum. What's kind of the feeling as that momentum's building, and do you sense kind of the pressure building on them at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, that's all you're trying to do at that point. You're down 25, 30 in a game. You just want to make enough of a push to put it on the other team to make plays. And I thought we did a great job of that. Obviously us making a couple of shots in the third quarter helped. And we got to set our defense and really get after it. And like you said, turnovers helped us get out too. But it's just you got to go for it. You got to go for it. There's nothing to wait. If you don't make a comeback, then you got to shut it down and go for the next game. But we were able to make a good run, and then, like you said, game got close and they got slower. The game kind of switched to the pace that I think benefited us.
Alex, this is the second straight game where you've dove on the floor for the loose ball. You get it tied up, but you call a timeout. You guys retain possession, and you're pretty fired up after those plays. Just in your experience in the playoffs, just can you speak to how much weight a play like that holds in these games?
Yeah, it's just a tone setter more than anything. And especially in this game, it's a possessions game. When we were down however many we are at the time, I don't know if it was 6 or 8 or whatever it was. One possession could make the difference. We missed a couple free throws late. Like if they bang in a 3 and tie the game, now we got to go make one. If I don't get that stop, then maybe they go up 1 or up 2. So I'm just understanding the moment of how big each individual possession is, and just competing through that. And that's what this time of the year is for. Like if you're not diving on the floor and trying to get every single ball and retain possession for your team, then you probably shouldn't be here.
Kind of to piggyback off that, you've talked about how you've been able to play a little differently in the postseason. How are you physically holding up through 3 games now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. Obviously, you're going to get banged up, and it's all about just recovering within the 48, 36 in this case that we're going to go against Saturday. But I feel good. I think we've done a great job through the year. Shout out to our training staff, medical staff, and sports performance guys. They've done a great job working with me, getting to know me, and helping me get to a point to where I can go out and have games like I've had these first 3 and make an impact.
Basically, obviously your postseason experience with Chet is still young, but how have you seen him seize the opportunity, and what do you see flipping him from half to half tonight?
Yeah, I mean, one nice thing for Chet is that you don't have to get him ready to play. Like, he has a very high standard for how he wants to play, and that is, the beginning of greatness at any point in time. Like, I have the same thing, excuse me, with myself, which is the reason that I'm here now sitting at this podium talking to you in the NBA. You have to have a high standard for how you want to play and hold yourself to that standard, and he does a great job of that. For me, it's more about getting him out of his own way sometimes when he gets a little too frustrated with himself, because it's not a perfect game. It's an imperfect game. Like, we're going to turn the ball over. You're going to miss a shot. You'll miss an assignment. But getting to that next play and being competitive to get the next one is the biggest thing. And for him, I think he did a great job of that tonight. I don't think he had a great first half by his standards or by our standards. And he came out, started making shots, finished possessions on the glass for us, made a couple contests at the rim, and played the way that he's capable of playing. So the mental toughness and the competitive resilience is fun to watch from him.
And did you see him, like you say, frustrated in the first half? Could you sense that? Could you see that? And what are you sort of telling him in those moments?
No, not too much individually. But, I mean, this is the same guy we're talking about when he misses a couple shots in warm-ups in a row. We'll just, I shoot the same time as him. So, his warm-up for me, I'm just like, all right, let's get a good feel and get to the game. And Chet's, out there with a full sweat, and he missed a couple in a row, and he's pissed. And I always get a chuckle out of it because it's like, dude, you're going to be fine. We're going to play the game. You're going to make a bunch of shots. But that's just who he is.
Thanks.